Hi.
Hello.
Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Donna Montrose. I'm Historian Laureate for the City of Edmonton.
Okay.
Welcome to Black History Month, our opening ceremony.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, can you show us some of your work?
Well, for this table, this table complements the virtual museum that's on display this year, and it's this is a card that represents its production by the City of Edmonton e-camping, because that's their logo, the Edmonton City as Museum Project.
Okay.
So the virtual museum is an outcome of that project.
Okay.
We have physical displays, but this represents a microcosm of what it is about.
Okay.
And this table is displaying some of the material related to that project,
okay,
which is showcasing how Black people came into this space from the 1900s, from the start of the 1900s,
okay,
when we were allowed to enter Alberta,
okay,
after being held at the border, Manitoba and Saskatchewan borders for over 2 months.
okay.
And then we were sent off to Amber Valley, which is all swamp, and it's so far from Edmonton. We weren't allowed as Black people to live in Edmonton. So this museum tells the story of our presence here,
okay,
coming into the 50s, 60s, and 70s. We've told the story of the presence of Black communities here.
Okay.
And who has tried our contributions in art, culture, science, education, every field you could think of. We've profiled how we built Fort McMurray, all of the positions we've held that have built this province, Alberta, financially and otherwise, in terms of our culture and our social constructs, what we have brought to this space. So that's what this display is about, who we are, and a little bit about us.
Good job. So
Yes.
can we see the other?
Yes.
Okay. So some of those things that you have over there, what do they represent?
They represent those panels are images of artifacts of that period.
Okay.
We can look at a couple of them right here.
Okay.
Because we like to share the historical information about it. This is our history of racialization from 1900s, when John Ware and family were part of that that group that came from Oklahoma and Texas and the Deep South. They were running from racism and the Ku Klux Klan, trying to get to Alberta, and then they were kept at the border for so long. Mm-hmm. So these panels represent that history, and some of them were mixed with American indigenous people, so they have indigenous features. So you'll see pictures of combined groups, and this is how we were represented in cartoons, and graphics during the day.
Okay.
In that period, where Black people were like the boogeyman, and that's why they hung one of them. I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
Because he was accused of being a boogeyman. His name was Daniel Williams, and so this display really accentuates what we've contributed, but how we've been portrayed. So this here is Daniel Williams. There's a picture of him in 1918, when they were called by different names, and he was eventually hung, accused of a crime, a trumped-up crime. So these panels really showcase all the contributions we've made in that period. So you have actual footage from newspapers,
okay,
and standing orders and all of the historical documents they used. So he's taking a shot of Charles Daniels,
okay,
as one of the feature we feature in this display, because they talk about the actual history that was printed in newspapers, and otherwise demonstrate other contributions we've made. Our own newspapers, the Negro Citizen, in that period, how we recorded our own stories, where Amber Valley got its name. That wasn't always its name.
So how do you think the Black community has grown from that period when Alberta just opened up for the Black community to what we have now and celebrating Black History Month today, 2025?
Yes, well, from that period, we've had a steady influx of people coming in. Black people were allowed to were absorbed in the communities here. Starting really in the 1950s, they brought in women to be domestic servants, teachers from the Caribbean, teachers from and nurses, so that white women could join the workforce. We took care of their kids in their homes while they joined the workforce. That's why they introduced that domestic scheme program in the 50s. In the 60s, we were allowed to come as students and craftspeople because the previous government, Pierre Trudeau, had changed immigration laws to facilitate immigration from different third world countries. And so a lot of Black people were able to come in then and pursue their own education. You know, we came as doctors, some of us, and as other craftspeople.
Yeah.
You know, and so like today the Chancellor of Grant MacEwan is a retired oncologist who was a student at the University of Alberta. So we have a lot of Black people in higher positions now because they have spent years honing their skills and their trades and their professions. So we have contributed so much to this province. This display is just a small part of who we have been. You know, like the porters who ran the railways. You know, they served on the rail, you know, and the transportation system in that day. Those were the only jobs they could have as porters, right? So it was a menial job. They weren't allowed to be conductors or anything else. So we've graduated from that because then they formed a union to protect their rights. In the late 50s, early 60s, and so we have seen our populations move in size and contributions because we've been allowed to now. You know, in those days we were not allowed to excel. You know, now we come with not only financial ability, but all the skills that you need to grow a country.
Okay.
You know, so when we come as immigrants now, we have all of this that we give to Alberta or to Canada, you know, in the form of education at the highest levels, skills, physical and mental skills, you know, so we are now professors, we're being recognized for who we are. And so that is what has enriched Alberta. And that's what we're so proud of, that we celebrate around Black History Month. Look how far we've come from.
Yeah.
And we're still growing, you know, we're growing still.
Yeah.
You know, because we have the support, you know, and the wealth to prove that we have been thriving for a long time. You know, so you just open the door and we are walking through.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where we are now.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.